What's up guys, Buddy Jellybean here. Today I want to take you through my Back 4 Blood Act 1 card deck and explain a little bit of the thought process that went into building it. For Left 4 Dead fans like myself, the announcement of Back 4 Blood was one that was anxiously awaited for more than a decade. Although there's some arguments on the internet about whether or not Back 4 Blood could really be compared to Left 4 Dead, we'll leave my thoughts on all of that for another video. Despite its similarities, Back 4 Blood offers some new features that Left 4 Dead did not, and the ones I want to focus on today are character selection and the card system. One of the neat things about Back 4 Blood is that characters are more than just a skin. Each one of them offers their own unique skill sets and contributions to the team. The easiest example of this is how you can build a very altruistic deck and pair that up with Doc and become the team medic. Character selection and deck build really just comes down to your personal playstyle. For me personally, I always like to have something in my sights, coordinate with my team, and get the job done quickly and safely. For this reason, I chose Carly because she can sense nearby hazards that I can then warn my team about if I can't clear out myself. She also comes with a quick item inventory slot, which depending on the vibe of the game and the team, can be used with some versatility. As far as Carly's team contribution, she offers 50% increase in use speed, which can then be used to help get some of the more redundant tasks done a little bit faster. Next, I turn to the card system to build a strong deck for my playstyle. When I think of the word cards, my brain instantly goes to shuffle and deal, but this could not be further from the truth in Back 4 Blood. It took me longer than I care to admit to realize that the order in which you build your deck is the order in which the cards are dealt out to you. Once I realized this, it dawned on me that I could build a deck curtailed to certain key moments that happen throughout the act. This is what I came up with. In Act 1, Scene 1, Resurgence, the main focus is getting you familiar with the mechanics of the game, but of course there is some zombie shooting and a few special riddance to take care of. This scene is a great opportunity to establish the base of your build. By default, you will always have a starter card. Based on my playstyle and the nature of the scene, I decided 2 is 1 and 1 is none should be the base of my build. This card allows the user to equip a primary weapon in their secondary weapon slot. This will allow me right from the get-go to equip an SMG and an assault rifle. I ultimately chose upon this weapon loadout over running 2 assault rifles because this better allowed me to manage my ammo consumption by using 2 different ammo types instead of 1. Aside from the starter card, the user is allowed 1 more card for this scene. There's a little running in this scene and a lot later in the act, so I ultimately chose that Cross Trainers was going to be the next best addition to my deck. This card gives us a 20% increase in stamina, a 20% increase in stamina regeneration, a 3% increase in movement speed, and 5 health. So this is going to make us a little bit faster and a little bit stronger as well. The most notable thing about the next run, Tunnel of Blood, is that this is where we take on the Ogre for the first time. Ogres are large and deal out a lot of damage, so I decided it was best for me to start dealing out some damage myself. One thing that is very important to note is the different types of damage and how they interact with each other. For this portion, we'll focus on regular damage, weak spot damage, and bullet damage. You can play cards that add to each of these categories, but know that increasing the amount of regular damage does not add to the amount of weak spot damage that you deal out, and of course adding to weak spot damage logically would not add to regular damage that you deal out. You can, however, add to your bullet damage and increase both regular and weak spot damage dealt. Knowing this, and that ogres have extremely large and exposed weak spots, I decided it was best to increase my weak spot damage and use the card Ridden Slayer. This card will give us a 20% increase in weak spot damage dealt. Increasing bullet damage is an okay option as well, but I considered the fact that most bullet damage cards also come with a penalty, and bullet damage can be increased through intel or weapon mods that you find throughout the map or safe room shops. In the next run, Pain Train, the primary focus is on the large horde of zombies that need to be dealt with before we can make it to the next safe room. When it comes to dealing with a large horde of zombies, one of the biggest setbacks is reload time. This few extra seconds can often mean the difference between life and death. For this reason, my next card choice was an obvious one. Admin Reload is a really awesome card that automatically reloads your weapon whenever you stow it. This means that we can continuously swap between two high rate of fire weapons and really lay into these zombies. Admin Reload does come with a 15% penalty to ammo capacity, but I myself have not even come close to running out of ammo, so in general, I think this penalty is definitely worth the reward. The crossing is the closest thing I've seen to a marathon simulator. The goal here is to get across the broken bridge, through a cruise ship that has collided with the bridge, and onto the other side. We then have to plant bombs in the cruise ship and blow it to smithereens, cutting off the horde. Because there's a lot of running here, I thought it would be best to add in superior cardio. This will give us a further 20% increase in stamina, 20% sprint efficiency, and 5 health. Paired with cross trainers, this gives us a total of 40% stamina and 10 extra health, and gets us ready to run. In the next run, a clean sweep, we take on our next boss-style ridden, the Breaker, which is basically what you get when you breed an armored bulldozer with a frog. From there, it's off to rescue some survivors from a sticky situation. To add to the awesomeness of 2 is 1 and Admin Reload, I could think of no better card to add than Guns Out to help us swap weapons faster as we lay into the hordes or deal out rapid weak spot damage to the Breaker with Ridden Slayer. In Bookworms, we are tasked with securing the library and rescuing more survivors. There really isn't much else noteworthy about this run, so it's a section where I would play a build-up card, which may not have a significant use right now, but will later in the act. For this reason, I chose Grenade Pouch to give me some extra frags. During the Room Blitz, the team will take on a massive horde that's called by the Jukebox, which serves as a distraction for the survivors we rescued to make an escape. Massive hordes mean more special ridden. That's why I decided at this point to make every weak spot shot count even further by playing Reckless Strategy. In Special Delivery, the team needs to find a few boxes of supplies and deliver them to the safe room. Another run where nothing too significant is happening, so it's a good opportunity to play another build-up card. Motorcycle Jacket seemed very appealing because this brought me back to only negative 5% damage resistance penalty from playing Guns Out and Reckless Strategy. It also added 5 more health, giving me a total of 15 extra health when paired up with cross trainers and superior cardio. The next run has us moving the supplies from the last run to the diner. After the supplies have been delivered, it's time to hunker down and defend the diner against a large horde. As the act starts to become more difficult, I'm going to be looking to deal out even more damage. Careful consideration turned me to Silver Bolts. This will give me a 10% increase in bullet damage and a 150% increase in bullet penetration. This should allow me to deal out even more weak spot damage when stacked with Ridden Slayer and Reckless Strategy. In Bad Seeds, we have a few hordes to take on as we pop a few nests and free the bus to create a makeshift bridge across the river. By this point, I'm pretty satisfied with my damage output and my overall health, so I decided it was time to start focusing on my grenade game a little bit more. Earlier on, Grenade Pouch gave me an extra offensive slot. Now I'm looking to make sure I can find offensive items more consistently. This is where Offensive Scavenger comes into play. Not only does this card allow me to find offensive items more easily, but should cause more of them to spawn as well. The next run is called Hell's Bells because the main objective will be to get to the church and fortify it while fighting off a large horde. On the way there, we will trek through some creepy, foggy forest where we will encounter our first hag. For this reason, I felt it was best to maintain focus on my grenades and add grenade training, which will give me a 25% increase in my accessory damage to help take out the hag quickly. During the run Abandon, we really start to feel the impact of our deck build come together with how much easier it's become to take on the Special Ridden or push through the road run or up the mines with our increased stamina. The next card I decided to play here was Double Grenade Pouch. The idea here was to further up my inventory of grenades, which will help me blow the mines and cut off the horde on the run up to the safe room. It's time for the moment we've been building up to: Sound of Thunder. In this showdown, the goal is to blow up the main mine and fully cut off the horde. With the deck I've built, this was honestly a walk in the park and felt a lot easier than any other part in the act. An increased offensive inventory made it to where I could buy a ton of razor wire and prepare the cannon's defenses, and increased weak spot damage made it a piece of cake to take down the Special Ridden. For this reason, my last two cards, Demolition Expert and Energy Bar, are basically just something to throw in there based on how I felt the whole rest of the act went. For this particular run, I decided to use Energy Bar. One thing I will mention is that this act was also made a ton easier by really good and competent teammates who actually happen to be randoms, so I'm pretty pleased with that. Another noteworthy thing is that I came across several pieces of really good copper bot intel that really added and accented my build. Well, there it is, guys, my Act 1 card deck. As I was editing this video together, I already thought of a few different ways that I could make it even better, so I'm going to be playing around with those thoughts as I work to refine this build for Veteran and Nightmare mode. I know it's not a meta build, I know it's not the best deck in the world. What I can say, though, is that this build was very fun and exciting for me and my playstyle. Well, that's going to be it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, be sure to smack the like button, show me some love, share, subscribe, follow, all of that good stuff. If you haven't already, be sure to check me out on Twitch and follow all of my socials. All of my links can be found in the description. I love you guys, and I will see you again next time.